Hi, everybody. How are you? Jim Prusek here at the Pain PT. And today's topic is think psychologically, not physically. And I want to honor Dr. Sarno here, who wrote a number of best-selling books about how the mind creates physical symptoms in the body. And one of the biggest tenets he spoke to or spoke about was the idea that we need to move from the physical to the psychological. So we have to move from the body to the mind and start thinking that way. Now, once you've ruled out any major structural components or causes to your condition, you want to move to the brain or the mind and look at what could be some other contributing factors or causes from a psychological side that may be producing or maybe produced these physical symptoms in my body. Okay, we want to make this connection. We want to be looking for this connection. And so when we move from the physical to the psychological, we're not just thinking about symptoms anymore. Oh, I got a pain in my neck, or I got a headache, or I got a stomach issue. Oh, I got this back pain, fatigue. Okay, these are just symptoms you're focusing on. And we want to move from physical symptoms to psychological causes. Okay, we want to look at the psychology behind this in the brain and the mind, because the mind and the brain can produce a whole host of physical symptoms in the body. I read the other day a study that was saying that up to 97% of side effects from pharmaceutical drugs are due to the nocebo effect. Up to 97%. Now let that sink in. Very real physical symptoms that people can have, such as fatigue and nausea and stomach pains and bloating and all these things that they attribute to the medication, can just be caused by the brain. Okay, that's the nocebo effect, negative expectation and belief. So if you can imagine that 97% of those are caused by the nocebo, the brain can produce a whole host of physical symptoms in your body that are not produced at all by anything structural in the body. So we want to move to that psychological side. And what I usually tell people to do is to try to get in a greater mental and emotional connection with yourself as to what's happening, what's going on when these symptoms shoot up in you or when they increase. Maybe think, okay, what's happening in this moment? Am I thinking about something? Am I creating some pressure on myself and some type of stress? Am I in a situation that's stressful? Is it creating some emotions in me? Okay, this is unconscious, guys. It's coming from your unconscious brain. The symptoms are conscious because you notice them, but the unconscious brain produces a physical symptom. And so our job with our conscious mind is to investigate and look for a psychological cause or a psychological contribution to the symptom. And a lot of times you can make one or find one. Sometimes the original incident or event when your symptoms started might go back some time. It might go back years for some people. But usually, if you look back and you say, okay, what was going on around the time that this started? Almost always there's something happening. There's some big change, some life event, big stress. Something got triggered in the person that was very stressful or emotional. And then the symptoms started. And even in current day to day things like now, people notice that symptoms pop up or symptoms increase when stress increases. So we want to make this psychological connection, guys, and think psychological. I can give you a lot of examples of this from people I work with, but essentially, what can happen is a person has a symptom, and if they're not careful, their brain and their mind might go right down that physical route. Oh no, I got this sciatica in my leg. Okay, I give that as an example of a person I work with. Sciatica shooting down the leg, sitting on the sofa. Oh no, what did I do to my leg? Oh no, my back. Even worse than that. Oh no, I've got some other condition. So the brain moves into this physical route of investigating and looking at the symptom, failing to look at the psychological side, where in this case, it was nothing to do with sitting on the sofa or being there. It had everything to do with this person's spouse in this instance that was making this person angry and upset and mad. They were not sharing it, expressing it, getting it out. And so it internalizes in the body and comes out as a pain. So just a very simple example. Another one, working with somebody driving their car down the road, all of a sudden a shooting pain down the right arm. Oh my gosh, what the heck is this? The person could freak out and go, oh, I must be using the steering wheel wrong. Maybe I'm reaching too far. No, you're not. Okay, so always check the physical first. See what you're doing. Does it make sense? What did you do? What are you doing? Do you do this every day? And if you go, yeah, this is nothing, it's not no major physical trauma or physical injury, start thinking psychologically, guys. In this case, the person was thinking about something. They were thinking about a situation or a person, and the pain started. So it was, again, something stressful, which generated a reaction in the brain, which caused a physical symptom in the body. This is real, guys. This is so real. And so I want you to be looking for this in your own lives, to look back at when this first started, and you can do some work around that. And also in the current moments, when symptoms kick up, notice how you're feeling. Notice your mood. Notice what you're thinking about. Notice how you're feeling emotionally. Notice where you are, who you're with. Okay, the situation. Remember, it's unconscious, a lot of guys. It's unconscious. It's where it's coming from. So consciously, you could be thinking one thing, the unconscious could be saying another. So we want to think psychologically, not physically with these conditions. We need to move past the symptoms. If you're just stuck on, oh, I got this headache. Oh, this back pain's really acting up again. Oh, and you stay in the physical mode, you're not getting to the cause. You're just working at the symptom level. That's not the cause for it. If you know you hurt yourself, okay, physical injury, that should heal, get better in time. But in a lot of cases, it's not true. There's a psychological cause to the physical symptoms. So we need to go to the mind and look for that. Make that connection more clearly. Once you see it a few times, it's quite interesting. I had another one recently where a person had an uptick in migraines again. They had been doing quite well. Migraines had increased recently. And I said, what's going on? Well, turns out it was due to two different friends that the person didn't necessarily like or want to spend time with, but had to or was asked to, and has a hard time saying no. And so they go along with it or they agree with it, even though they don't want to, they don't like it. Okay, so that conflict there, that sort of really resistance to doing it, but saying yes anyway, agreeing with it, but really being upset about it, angry, kicks off the migraine. Now, you got to think about that. You got to think psychologically. What was going on? You know, yeah, I got this screaming headache. I got this terrible headache right now. Okay, that's the symptom. What's the cause? So I want you to think psychologically. And in that particular example, the trigger was in the present, but it goes back to the past, guys. So that's the other thing. It touches a nerve, hits a deep nerve in the person where it reminds them or reminds their unconscious mind of maybe their mother, their father, or something else. And then boom, off goes the symptom. So we want to make this connection, be looking for this connection, because if you don't, you might get caught going down the physical route, getting stuck there when in fact there was nothing wrong physically. It was all caused by the mind and the brain from stress, psychological stress. So the more you make the connection, the less worried you are about the symptom, and you can treat it as being a stress-related symptom. And we can work on some of the other things we talked about here and how we deal with these emotions and with the stress it produces in us. Okay, guys, think psychologically, not physically. Think psychologically, not physically with these conditions. You have much better success doing that than just staying stuck in the physical world. Take care, guys. I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye.